Hello and welcome. Let's be honest for a second. You probably think of yourself as a good driver, don't you? You don't speed too much, you haven't had any crashes or tickets, and you've been driving for years, mostly trouble-free. But what if I told you that some of the most dangerous driving habits are the ones that feel completely normal? Habits that most drivers have and almost no one ever corrects. Today we're going through 10 driving habits that secretly make you a bad driver. Not to shame you, but to make you smoother, safer, and more confident behind the wheel. And it's almost certain that at least a few of these apply to you. Let's start with tailgating. Most drivers follow the vehicle in front way too closely, especially in dense traffic. Why? Because everyone else does it, so it feels normal to leave only a few feet of gap. But here's the truth. Tailgating gives you zero time to react, increases stress, and causes chain reaction accidents. And no, modern brakes and ABS won't necessarily save you here. As a good driver, you must always leave space, and how much of it depends on the situation. More space if you drive in the rain or snow, even more space when traveling at high speeds, such as on a highway, and enough space that braking feels calm, not urgent. What helps here is a so-called 2-second rule of thumb, where you use a fixed roadside object, like a sign or lamppost, as a reference. You count 1001, 1002 after the car ahead passes that selected object, and if you pass it before finishing, you're too close. The gap should be doubled in wet conditions and increased further on icy roads. This gives you more time to analyze the situation in front of you and sufficient space to react smoothly and without panic. Number 2. Late and hard braking. Many drivers do it because they've reacted too late or just because they think this makes them decisive and sporty. But in reality, it means poor anticipation and preparation. Late braking makes passengers uncomfortable, can cause the wheels to lock up, which destabilizes the vehicle, and increases wear on brakes and tires. Not to mention, by suddenly slamming the brakes, you're more likely to get rear-ended. To avoid this, you need to constantly monitor the road up ahead to be aware when you'll need to brake. This way, you can start braking a bit earlier and less aggressively. And even if you want to brake late and hard, let's say you're driving a bit more exuberantly, don't stomp on the brake pedal. It's not an on and off switch. If you're always surprised by red lights or slow traffic, the problem isn't traffic. It's your forward vision, which brings us to the next big mistake that makes you a bad driver. And that is focusing only on the vehicle in front. Many drivers do this. Stare at the car they are following on the highway, usually too close, and practically ignore everything else. By doing so, they become dependent on the reactions of the guy in front of them. And you don't want to entrust your safety to the hands of a complete stranger, now do you? Professional drivers, on the other hand, look far ahead for brake lights 2 or 3 cars up, vehicles merging onto the road, and traffic flow and patterns in general, not just the gap in front. By looking further ahead, you can react earlier, brake less, and steer smoothly. This one habit alone can change how driving feels, make it calmer and more refined. A fourth bad habit is not checking the mirrors often enough. Some drivers will look at what's happening behind them only when they are about to change lanes or make a turn, and by then it might already be too late. There could be a vehicle behind approaching at high speed or one that's sitting in a blind spot. As opposed, good drivers scan their mirrors constantly. Rear view mirror, side mirrors, and then back to the road ahead. That's not because they're nervous, but because they want situational awareness. So mirror checks should be a habit, not an emergency action. Do it every 20 or 30 seconds so that you know what's happening behind. If you're caught by surprise by something around you, that usually means you stopped looking. Number 5. Erratic speed adjustments. You probably know the type. They speed up at one moment, slow down at the other, then speed up again, and so on. More annoyingly, their pace doesn't seem to have anything to do with speed limits or traffic conditions. This inconsistent speed not only confuses other drivers, but it also increases fuel consumption and creates unnecessary risk. Instead, what you want to do is find the speed at which you feel comfortable and stick to it as much as possible, especially in dense traffic. On a highway, engage the cruise control, if your vehicle has it, focus on what's happening far ahead, and make speed adjustments earlier if needed. This way you won't have to react every second, which will make your pace much smoother. Now, before we continue, if you liked this video so far, make sure to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Moving along to bad driving habit number 6, poor lane positioning. Many drivers drift within their lane without realizing it, too close to the center line, parked cars, or the shoulder. This affects visibility, safety margins, and makes hitting the surrounding vehicles or curbs more likely. The only good practice here is to keep your car in the middle of the lane, but also not too close to the vehicle next to you. If you feel cramped in your lane, it's usually not the road, it's your positioning. Next, we have turning without preparation. You probably know how this goes. Suddenly turning the steering wheel, accompanied by late signaling or no signaling at all, and last-second braking. This doesn't just look bad, it is bad. It's hazardous and, at very least, annoying to other drivers. Every maneuver should have a clear order. Mirrors to check what's happening behind, signal to let the other drivers know your intention, correctly position your vehicle within the lane, slowing down early enough so you don't have to brake hard, and finally, turning smoothly. When turns feel rushed, it's because you started too late and had to skip some of these steps. Coming in at number 8 is panicking when something goes wrong. Traffic is unpredictable, and there will always be someone who will cut you off or brake suddenly, or your car might slide a little when turning or braking. These are the situations when bad drivers panic, which often leads to overreacting and poor decision-making. Slamming the brakes and turning sharply only makes things worse. Good drivers respond correctly and with confidence, and this is something that doesn't come from luck. It comes from understanding what's happening around you and knowing how your car will behave. If you tense up when something unexpected happens, that's a habit worth fixing. And this brings us to the following bad habit: driving with tension all the time. Gripping the steering wheel firmly, a rigid posture with shoulders up next to your ears, and feet battling with the pedals. Not only does this constant tension reduce steering precision, but it also increases fatigue and makes driving mentally exhausting. Professional drivers look relaxed because they are relaxed. A tight grip and rigid posture don't make you safer, they make you slower to react. Control comes from calmness and observance, which allows you to anticipate what's going to happen in front of you and give enough time to react accordingly. In the end, we have maybe the most dangerous habit of all, thinking, I've been driving for years, I'm fine. It's often a case of overconfidence because experience doesn't automatically equal skill. Many drivers repeat the same mistakes for decades without even noticing, let alone correcting them. So what you need to do is constantly reflect on your driving in different conditions, spot any potential bad habits, and figure out how to improve them. If you stop learning, your driving slowly gets worse, not better. The bottom line is, being a good driver isn't about speed or experience. It's about awareness, smoothness, and respect for margins. If you recognized yourself in a few of these bad habits, that's a good thing. It means you can fix them. Just let us know which habit surprised you the most. So drive safe and drive smooth.